pronouncements made by President Tinubu yesterday at the inauguration. That inaugural speech and address has, sent some reactions across Nigeria. First, with the subsidy, the declaration or pronouncement and subsidy removal that we have seen caused some big reactions in the market, especially with fuel stations now. A lot of fuel stations holding the products and some fuel queues returning to many parts of the country. In some parts of the country as well, the price of PMS has gone up to about 300 or 350 naira. Some say, well, subsidy has already been removed in some quarters. It's just a few states and even the FCT that may have been enjoying the official rate of 195. However, in so many other places, like in Kaduna, just Kaduna here, we hear that the official rate in Kaduna for them has been 210 naira. And as it is, just yesterday, when that pronouncement was made, it was jacked up to about 300 and 50 naira, and in some places 400 naira. In the FCT, we've seen queues returning, and many people are wondering, what is the situation? The budgetary allocation made for fuel subsidy should be, wrapping up at the end of month, June. Why is it that Nigerians are being so inhuman to other Nigerians, turning businesses, turning businesses and transportation to be an issue because of these pronouncements? We hope to see some clarifications maybe in the coming days. As regards that pronouncement where the president-elect said, or the president rather, President Tinubu said that subsidy is gone. That's one area that we're seeing. Also, another pronouncement that was made yesterday would be the one that touches on Forex. Many manufacturers and entrepreneurs seem to be happy about that, saying, well, the unification of the exchange rate would be a good thing. The president talked about food scarcity and also creating 1 million jobs in the digital economy sector. Some of these other issues about repatriation of investment and profits. Immediately, we'll see all of that coming up. Also, talking about taxes, these are pronouncements made regarding the economy, which many people commend and say these are good, very good pronouncements. But some of them may need some levels of clarification and tinkering here and there. My guest this morning is Dr. Ejo Mike, who is a political economist, joining us in the conversation this morning. Dr. Ejo Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, my brother Yana Shaw. Good morning, and good morning, Nigeria.
Thank you again. Let's get to this conversation. Dr. Ejo Mike, as a political economist, how did the president's inaugural speech, come to you? How did you perceive that inaugural speech yesterday?
Well, before I go into the inaugural speech, I wish to remind the President Tinubu of what he has inherited. He has inherited a collapsed economy or a failed economy. He has inherited a debt profile of 27 trillion or so. And that is to say, every Nigerian is indebted to the tune of 384,864 naira to service the debt. And for every 100 naira that is inherited by the government, 97 naira goes to service the debt. And we also asked, where is the pyramid that was proposed or planned or promised by President Buhari? And unemployment, we have 41% now in the country. Insecurity and all whatnot. So these are the issues. And poverty also has increased. Inflation rate is 22%. And the poverty rate is 63%. About 133 million Nigerians are living below poverty line. So these are the issues that are before the president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, back to his inaugural speech. Well, it is not the first time we've heard such speeches made by presidents. They are always coming up with promises or political campaign promises, but implementation of fulfillment of those promises are always issues. But it will be too early to judge our president. It's just like a child who has just begun admission into university. You can't know that the child is going to make a first class or a 2-1 or a 2-2 as the case may be. So it will be too early to pass judgment now. But let us give the benefit of the doubt and see the kind of team we will constitute and work with in order to accomplish the task ahead or before him.
Well, as it is, that pronouncement sent shockwaves to many Nigerians and even businesses. Many have said, "Look, that's the kind of speech that investors need to hear, especially foreign investors." But then, when it comes to the issue of subsidy, some people think it was horrid. That statement was too sudden and too quick because there haven't been buffers and what do you call them now, palliatives, or even measures to cushion the effect of subsidy removal on many Nigerians. Just this morning, we've seen transportation in the city, transportation going up. A colleague of mine came into the office and said, the first thing he said was, look, this morning I had to pay more to get to the office. We've seen queues. Yesterday, I spent a couple of hours on the queues trying to get fuel, almost immediately after, the pronouncement by the president. What do you make of that?
Personally, that particular clause in his speech was too early in the day. Nigerians have gone through a lot in the last. It should have been a gradual process. It should have even been mentioned in the speech in the first place. So to me, it was too early a day for him to make such withdrawal of subsidy or removal of subsidy as the case may be. However, a lot of money has been sunk into the subsidy regime. But it should be a gradual process where enough palliative or effect to cushion this will have been put in place before this total removal. But like I said earlier, for his first speech, he should not have even mentioned the issue of subsidy because it threw the country into another plight or psychological trauma yesterday. This morning, even as yesterday, queues resumed across the country again because the president has pronounced that subsidy is gone. To me, it was too early a statement to be made in the day as his first inaugural speech.
Now, what do you think can be done to salvage the situation? Some people think, like you have mentioned, some people think it's a mistake that was made too early. What can be done to salvage this, from your perspective as an economist?
Well, he can do a reversal of that statement. He can reverse it. I think he should be given time to study the documents or the policy and then come out with the palliative to cushion the effect. It is not too big a deal for him to reverse the statement. It's done. It is human. If you make a statement and you go back and analyze it, if it's not in the best interest of the people, you can always withdraw the statement. So the president can do that by withdrawing the statement. Say, okay, the issue of palliative, we have to study it with my team. I will come out with a plan on how to remove the subsidy, either partially or totally. So it's left for the president now to reverse his statement on the request subsidy removal. That's my take on this.
Well, looking at the Buhari administration, what many Nigerians have referred to, coming out to say now as one that, did not meet expectations. Some people also say, oh, it's a failed administration in the area of insecurity, economy, all of that. There's really not much to write home about. But infrastructure. When it comes to infrastructure, that the Buhari administration holds a pass mark in that regard. What do you think? What should be the primary focus of the Tinubu administration, looking at all that they have mentioned? The president mentioned the plethora of issues that they hope to address within the next few days in office. What do you think should be the priority for his government?
I think on the issue of infrastructure, what we have to ask, what is the quality of the infrastructure that we provided? Are they sustainable? Are they long-term infrastructural facilities? Are they going to be short-term? And who are those that are benefiting from this infrastructure? And where are the infrastructure established? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Because development starts from the rural, before it's going to urban. That's development. It doesn't start from rural to urban. It starts from the urban, sorry, from the rural to urban, not urban to rural as the case may be. So if these things were provided at the urban centers, what are those people in the villages going to benefit from this infrastructure? Go to our communities, our homes, our villages. How many infrastructure were put in place in those communities where we come from? And development does not start from cities. It starts from the villages or from the grassroots. So to me, at least any infrastructural improvement in this part of the administration, I can just give me a fairly pass mark, but not a good grade, so to say. As a take-up point for this administration, security is key. Development cannot thrive on the foundation of insecure economy. This administration has a lot to do to ensure that we are safe in our country. Like I'm traveling to Kogi State now, I'm safe. I'm going to Kaduna State now, I'm safe. I'm going to Jos, I'm safe. Or I'm going to farm now, let me be safe. That's the first priority of this government. You should prioritize security. It's a very serious issue. It's not a joke. It's not a small business. Security is a very big business. So no development can start in an atmosphere of insecurity. So the government should take this seriously, as a matter of fact.
Now, speaking of policy somersaults, people said the past administration had a lot of policy somersaults. One policy here today, the next day it's reversed. Now, you just mentioned that the Tinubu administration should also reverse his statement on subsidy removal, because we're seeing some organizations and even like the IPMAN, Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Nigeria Labour Congress, all of them, refusing the removal of subsidy. They're saying, look, we have to get back. We have to find a way. Now, what would it spell for the Tinubu administration to begin on such a note where they have to reverse policies and declarations and statements made openly?
In every sector of the national economy, there are stakeholders. Now what I talk about this is a statement reversal or withdrawal. We can call for a consultative meeting with these stakeholders and push it, and they'll come up with a plan, a roadmap on how to go about the subsidy regime. We cannot just single-handedly, though it's the president and commander-in-chief, single-handedly stand and say, okay, this subsidy is removed. There are other major stakeholders in that critical sector of the national economy. So there is need, therefore, for the president and his team to consult with the major stakeholders in this sector to come up with a plan on how this subsidy regime will be handled. So that at the end, it will not be like what we are saying when the currency swap stopper, the person was reversed at the end of the day. So to me, you should reverse the statement, call for stakeholders meeting, consult widely, and come up with plans on how to go about the subsidy removal, either fully or partially, and put major palliatives in place to cushion the effect of subsidy removal.
Well, that's very, very circumspect. But then the president also mentioned the reintroduction of commodity board. What do you make of that? Looking at the economy of the nation, as an economist, people say, oh, there's need for the market forces to control and regulate prices and all that stuff. What do you think? What do you think about the introduction of commodity boards?
To me, that is outdated. Well, you talk about commodity board in the 21st century in the digital economy. I don't want to go into too much detail because his speech is full of contradiction. They talk about digital economy, I talk about the commodity board. Everything is going digital. The commodity board is an outdated and old school kind of operation in the economy. To me, we're in a mixed economy. Capitalism and socialism are mixed. So there shouldn't be a need for commodity board because the forces of market, that the demand and supply, determine the price. If you talk about how to make this foodstuff available by improving our agricultural sector, so that if I go to market to buy anything, I can get it at an affordable price. It should be available too for me to buy. Commodity board to me is out of place, it's outdated. No school.
Well, this is quite circumspect because the commodity board, as it's mentioned, is one that would, kind of regulate, and not just regulate now, but also provide promotion and purchase some of the products of producers. just to ensure that they don't run at a loss. It deals with research, industry information, consumer information, and all that stuff. Now, if we have to, increase production, wouldn't there be need for a commodity board that inspects and ensures that these products meet standards and also provide some level of buffers for those who are producing, especially agricultural products?
Well, like I said before, on the issue of infrastructure, their locations, where will this community board be located? Will it be located in Abuja or major cities in the country? And those who are supposed to be, that's where we need to know. Because all these policies are done, and at the end of the day, the implementation takes place in the cities or in the urban centers. So if community boards are established, what is going to be, who are those who are going to be the direct beneficiaries of the community board? If I go to my community now, will I say community board in my village? What are the critical questions we should ask ourselves when we're coming up with such policies? Or will it be domiciled in Calabar town and not in my community where we have farmers? So those are the questions. So to me, I don't see anything too good about community board that we need to begin to bring it on board. To me, it's an out of date or outdated policy for we to be talking about community board at this point in time. So we shouldn't be talking about community board in the 21st century. That's my take on that.
All right. Well, let's welcome callers and listeners who have joined in the conversation this morning. Feel free to share thoughts with us on what you think about what angles of the presidential or inaugural speech of President Tinubu caught your interest. What do you also want? Would you want this administration to focus on? Would love to hear all of that. And what it is that how you're reacting to some of the pronouncements made by President Tinubu yesterday at his inaugural address. Join the conversation now, 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. You may want to send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 090-9705-4450. That is 090-9705-4450. Dr. Ejo, let's look at the aspect of foreign exchange. What do you think that pronouncement will do? The reunification of unified foreign exchange. Many people have criticized the dual exchange that we've always had, the black market rates as well as the official window or the official market rates and even the export and import window. What do you make of the unification of the exchange rate? Before you respond to that, let's bring in a caller here. Hello, good morning. All right, seems like that one dropped. Now, go ahead and respond to that pronouncement by the president on Nigeria's foreign exchange.
Exchange rate unification is a very laudable policy statement. But do we have the political willpower evaluation of this policy? It is a good policy. You look at it, it's a very good policy. But do we have the mechanism to put in place a check that if I go to do any forex, it will be unified? Or will there be still some black market behind black market? Those are the questions, the things that we need to look at.
Very well said. I'm going to get in the callers now. Hello, good morning. Okay, it's still happening, the dropped call. You may want to just call 090-9705-4450. It seems like that line is most functional at the moment. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Prince. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you? Welcome.
Happy new government.
Happy new government to you. That's how we say it now. Welcome.
Good morning, Doctor. And want to say congratulations to the new president, at least for the swearing in. Even though the legitimacy of the government, we are waiting to see the test, whether they will test it positive or negative. So we are waiting for the judicial final pronouncement. But either as it may, the president, Doctor, I don't know whether, politicians, you are speaking as a professional, Doctor. Politicians will make statements. They can't withdraw that statement for now. Because if you look at the trend of the President Tinubu's campaign, he put emphasis on this fuel subsidy removal. So he reiterated it during the acceptance speech. Now, when things like this happen, like what we have been saying, I expected that the president will lay emphasis on security first. We have made emphasis on security. See, that anything that has to do with the economy, you have to sit down, study it, understand how it works. Because I believe he's going to put up a team of economic advisors. And then, as it is now, he will have to.
Hello, Paul.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I expected the president to have, after the swearing in, sit down with a team of professionals, because I'm sure he's going to assemble a team of economic advisors. Look at the economy, study it. But for security, we need this security. We need this country to be secure before any other thing will work. Now, by making that announcement, Nigerians will always wait for a situation like this to cash in. That's why we are suffering this morning. We just woke up because of the pronouncement of acceptance speech. Nigeria went to, some of them are even, they are closing their filling station, keeping the fuel, the boat, how much. They want to inflict another suffering on us. And they want to make money, maximize money, profit. It's terrible. It's terrible. Every little thing Nigeria will catch you and make other people suffer. This subsidy, to me, it has been removed since, because we have been buying fuel. I traveled to Jos. I passed through Nassau. I said I bought fuel like 240. This was like 3 weeks ago. I bought for 240. Now in some other states, they are 350, 310, 3 something. And this, to me, it's gone. All you needed to do was to say, for the first subsidy, we are going to remove it. But we will sit down and then look at other areas that you need to come up with. Okay, fine. Now that you have made the pronouncement, has it sent people to go around the filling station to find out what is actually happening? Who is checking who in the filling station? NNPC, call them, call everybody. Now that they remove the controlling petroleum regulatory controller or something.
DPR.
They remove that one. We don't know who is regulating this thing. If it's deregulated, nobody's checking anything.
All right, Paul. Thank you very much. We'll be talking some more. We'll be talking some more about this, Paul.
Like
Thank you so much. Let's bring in another caller quickly. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, team on the line.
Team, good to have you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's like we are saying in the newspaper headlines earlier today. The removal of fuel subsidy is actually a welcome development. Everybody knows that fuel subsidy has to go. There's no debate about it. And I think the same as that what matters is how you remove this statement, this fuel subsidy. And to me, the statement the President made yesterday, I think the same as that it was a very careless statement. He was not supposed to put it that way. If you could remember very well, Hanacho, the Buhari-led government told us that they have made provision for subsidy till the end of June. 6 months is by end of June. I expected the president, even if he wants to make mention of fuel subsidy removal, he would have made it subtly in a way that people will not experience the panic they experience this way. What if you put it this way? That subsidy will be removed at the end of June. We will not be having what we are having today because we are still in May. So what happened to the provisions that have been made for subsidy till the end of June? Number two, you can't just wake up and remove subsidy without having at least one functional refinery in the country. It's not done. It's going to backfire. It's not about criticizing the president. It's not about hating Tinubu. The decision was a very hasty and careless decision. And can you equally go around or direct his people to go around and make sure that the filling stations that are refusing to sell fuel are all sanctioned? Can he do that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, team, for your contribution to the conversation. Now, looking at the president's speech, also we'll talk about electricity because he had mentioned that, and that's a very critical aspect of Nigeria's economy, especially for businesses and entrepreneurs as well as manufacturers. Now, we'll talk about that shortly. But then also, yesterday we got a response from the NNPC as well as the NNDPRA. That's the Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. To say, look, they're going to be and calling on the petroleum marketers and filling station owners and the likes, that is, to make sure that they do what's required of them as regards the selling of petrol. What is required would be that they maintain status quo, they continue to sell at the rates for which they got the products, and that DPR will be monitoring. NDPRA rather, that's the Nigerian Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, saying they will be monitoring. The NNPC also put out a statement, or rather, the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Milikeri, was saying that the NNPC has enough stock to last the month of June, and so prices of fuel should remain the same. However, can you really control the marketers and what they do, considering the fact that they want to maximize profit? Let's see what happens today. If we would see the NDPRA moving around inspecting filling stations, because a lot of these filling stations are hoarding the products. They have PMS where they would hoard it, hoping to maximize profits in the coming days. We'll be looking out for that as well. Now, Dr. Ejo, let's talk about electricity. The electricity, the president said electricity will become more accessible and affordable to businesses and homes alike. Power generation should nearly double and transmission and distribution networks improved. We will encourage states to develop local sources as well. President Muhammadu Buhari a few weeks ago signed an act that would allow for states to generate electricity. How soon do you think that the issue of electricity scarcity and the price of electricity in the country would be a thing of the past, considering the fact that the federal government has made a pronouncement on it, or the past administration had signed that bill to allow states to generate electricity?
Well, this is not the first time, as usual. The president will say electricity will be priority. The megawatt will be double, will be this, will be that. You see, our politicians are very good in making promises, either during inaugural speeches or during campaign. But once they assume the office, all these things will be trash. But like I said earlier, it will be too early to judge or to assess the president or the incoming government. Not like a child who has been admitted, like I said earlier. We won't be able to know that a child is going to make a first pass or a 2-1. Let us give our president the benefit of the doubt and see how to implement all these promises. They are very wonderful promises. Let's give the benefit of the doubt and see how we can go about all these things.
Very well. Let's get more thoughts in. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Let's bring in more callers. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Moses, is that you?
Yeah, it's Moses. Yeah,
Welcome,
thank you. God
Moses.
bless you.
Go ahead, let's hear you.
I want to appreciate your guest on the radio. He's contributing honestly to the program. God bless him. Yeah, Nacho. I was expecting this president to majorly talk on corruption. No statement was made on corruption. If corruption issue is not addressed, put every machinery in order. It won't work. Because some of these politicians, I can say majority of them, they will not allow something to work in this country. You are removing oil subsidy. The oil subsidy that the past administration or the current one that just left before he came in, did he care to investigate the outcome of how this lot of billions being paid in respect of subsidy? Who are behind it? Do they implement it well? These are the things that they need to sit down to acknowledge. Who are behind all those things that will not work? I remember during Abacha, it was an oil subsidy. He introduced what is called BTF. And when those things were coming, he used that money judiciously to make rules, and everybody sees it. This man came to remove subsidy, which we now say, no, you could have sit down to make some analysis. Economists sit down, discuss, look at the effect that will have on the Nigerians, and no way out before you remove it. That is what we are saying. Then if the issue of corruption is not dealt with, Yanacho, let me tell you, the problem of this country will never solve until the issue, because some of these people are still creeping their way, and some of them are still going closer to him to find themselves into leadership position. That is number one. Then number two, the insecurity. These are the challenges. Put everything in place in a country where there is insecurity. It will not work. Corruption, insecurity, these are the major challenge of this country. I expect him to deal with that matter earnestly. Not the issue of removing oil subsidies are concerned. Whether you remove it, sir, listen to this. Whether they remove it, government is not paying subsidy again. With the money availability, what are they going to do with those monies? The same corrupt people will still embezzle them into their account. That is what you are saying. And ordinary Nigerians, they will be the suffering end at this policy. So him, let us first of all deal with that corruption. People who are involved in the suffering of Nigerians today, they have taken our monies away, and also the insecurity of our time. There are some people in the prison, the outgoing president was not able to carry out the ordinance.
All right.
Up to date, they are still there.
Thank you very
so
much.
So he has a lot of, so the corruption and this security should be the number one tackle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses, for calling in. Dr. Ejo, we have a situation at hand, fuel subsidy, the subsidy removal issue. Let's go back to it and talk a little more about that, because as it is, from many people, from many quarters, I've always said fuel subsidy is a scam, it needs to go. Now the president has said, let it go. And it seems like we're not really ready to allow the subsidy go. Going by that, I'm going to say that the level of preparedness for the removal of subsidy may be the issue, because the past administration had said they're going to take $800 million and distribute that to Nigerians, to 50 million Nigerians, and that for them would have been a palliative to cushion the effect of removal of subsidy. What do you think this administration should do to cushion the effect of the removal of subsidy as against the 800 million naira distribution proposed by the past administration, which wasn't really welcomed by Nigerians?
All right. You see, money should not just be distributed physically, because the distribution will not be even in the sense that you don't have data of every Nigerian captured or put together. Also, in the first instance, how many people I have in my house or in your house, and not those who are going to benefit. So that physical sharing of cash, I don't even understand how they come by all these kind of policies where you begin to distribute cash to people. There's a way you put in palliative in place. It wouldn't be physical cash. You cushion the effect of hardship by provision of some certain benefit. For instance, if subsidy or when subsidy is removed now, and the rail system is functioning to full capacity, yes, it's okay. But if you go to the subsidy and give my community pool 5,000 or 10,000 in the village, how long will that 10,000 last in their hands? And they will be transporting their crops from where they are to the market with the high cost of transportation. So giving physical cash to me, it does not solve the problem. The government needs to put measures in place to cushion the effect of removal of this subsidy in the first place. You can't just come today and say you want to subsidy when you have not put palliative in place. For instance, if a liter of oil is sold at 900 naira or 800 naira, for instance, how will my father in the village or your own father, my sister, everyone in the village be able to buy fuel and on the generator in the village? They will not even understand that. How would they buy fuel and put in their bikes? They used to go and carry produce from the farm. Or the other vehicles like Peugeot, they used to carry things from farm to the market. All those things need to be put into consideration before we talk about the one of fuel subsidy. This will be palliative is to put in this effect. You can't just come to the podium and say you're removing subsidy with immediate effect. So that's my take on that.
Well, let's bring in some more callers and get the conversation going. We're trying to reconnect with my guest here. 09073530044 and 09087668888. You may want to send SMS and WhatsApp messages. Or better still, you can call. Okay, seems like we have this one. Hello?
Good morning to you once again.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Well done.
I wish you. Thank you so much. What's your name, please?
Mr. Judy Hanacho. I'm calling from FHL.
Mr. Judy. I need to know where you're from, Mr. Judy Hanacho. Let me know if we're related. Though.
Come again.
I said I need to know where you're from, so that I would know if we are related or not.
Okay.
Welcome. Go ahead, talk to me.
Thank you. Yeah. You see, the president has made the comments. He has made the comments, but as mean the president listened, I think very well before making that comment. It should have been like, we are going to look into the issue of subsidy and know how we are going to tackle it. Not to just come and said, fuel subsidy removed, no subsidy. And you know how Nigerians, he knows how Nigerians always take advantage of everything. It's quite unfortunately that Nigerians will always like to take advantage of everything, anything that came. You see, the problem of this country is not only the leaders. We, the Nigerians, we are contributing even more than 50% of the problem in this country. How was it just after 1 hour, the president have made that comment, and these people have started putting Nigerians into suffering. It's not done. Let all of us help ourselves in this country. It's not only for the president. We just all have to join hands together and know how this nation can work. Understand? So, going to your question, I think issue of insecurity and economy is the number one thing that the president has to tackle first before any other thing. Because the number one priority of government is to secure the life and the property of the good citizen of the nation. That is the number one thing that the government have to do. So I think the president should start there first. And if he knows how he can be able to follow these people up and make sure that this issue of fuel and scarcity of fuel stops, I think he should do it better. Because I know wherever he is now, he must be hearing about the scarcity of fuel under not up to 24 hours that he has just made the comment. So let him know how he's going to do that. I think that is the first challenge that I've come to him after swearing in. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hanacho, for calling in. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Peter, the man that speaks in English.
Peter, welcome.
Thank you so much. Whether subsidy or no subsidy, my major concern is about insecurity. Now, like I said, I speak in English. You see, I want to advise the president, a humble advice. Two things. Number one, our military, in fact, the uniform men in general, you know, go recruit human beings, you know, go recruit soldiers, so you go train them. After small things, you dismiss them. You know, go recruit police, you small things, you dismiss them. In fact, in the normal circumstances, instead of you dismissing a soldier unlawfully, it is better you give death sentence so that you don't go exist. Because all of those people you recruit, you leave, you throw away, you go recruit the new ones. How you go think say those ones will be battle this one outside? I beg, if those people their case they knew, may they call them back to service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Interesting perspective there. Maybe call back, but man, sometimes military personnel and security personnel in general are said to be compromised. And when they're compromised, do you want to keep them more in the service? That's a very, very dicey situation. Do you want to leave it more within the ranks of the army or the police that would be working with the enemy? I don't know. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, this is Balogun speaking.
I didn't get that. Balogun.
Balogun speaking.
Balogun, welcome. Let's hear you, please.
Happy New Dawn to Nigeria.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. Okay, regards to the president's announcement of subsidy removal, it is a good one because he has said it in the campaign. Whether people like it or not, I'm going to remove first subsidy now, and I will win. This is a statement. So to show is a person that has been in power for many years and know how the government runs. So before saying it might have, sit down with the people involved, all those stakeholders and shareholders in this business. Speak with them and know the way forward. And regards to Dangote refinery, which we can start, refining crude oil in July. So how is it going to be beneficial to Nigeria? Because if crude oil is still being refined in Nigeria by Dangote refinery, so will this subsidy removal affect Nigeria, despite the crude oil is going to be refined in Nigeria? Because at least Nigeria has some percentage of share in that refinery.
Yeah.
So I don't know how is it going to help Nigeria in this case.
Okay.
And then another thing about the speech of the president, which there's so much, is about this reduction in tax, especially for those importers. You can see the major problem in this is the tax. The way custom taxing people. Imagine the container which they use a small amount of money to clear before, the custom, impounded with so much tax that when those things get here, you increase the price. That is why automobile, sector now, you see, engine they used to buy 70,000 before is now 300,000. So in that regard, that tax reduction to enhance, business, that one is a welcome development.
All right. Thank you very much.
And what I would like him to do is that when he's choosing his chief of army staff, I want it to be a Christian.
Okay.
All right, can be a Christian. It will help because during President Muhammad Buhari, former president, you see the number of the chief of army staff that have been chosen by him.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Balogo. I appreciate you calling in. Hello, good morning.
Okay, good morning. My name is Chris. I'm calling you from Asoko.
Chris, welcome. Let's hear you, please.
Okay. First of all, we thank God for how far He has brought the nation. A new president has been inaugurated. So whether or not the legitimacy has been ascertained for now, why the issue is still in the court, I think the best thing in the spirit of progress for the nation is to give him the required support. Then with regards to the speech he made, especially regarding the fuel subsidy removal, if you watch very well, all the years in Nigeria here, just compare with other places, whenever there's a little increment in the price of petroleum products, there's usually serious maybe queues in the stations and hike in the price of everything. Sometimes it's not really because of the effect itself of the increments, but the character of our economy, of our people. When you look at the consumer price regulatory agencies and what their works were supposed to be. Now, an announcement has been made yesterday regarding the intention to remove the subsidy removal. Today now, people have, even without waiting for the proper implementation of that policy now, the effect has begun to bite on Nigerians. So what are we really desired of the leadership is that before you come up with things like that, you put in measures on how that this thing is going to be, the mechanism for the implementation of this policy, so that the ordinary Nigerian doesn't become the victim of such things. That's one. Then secondly, somebody called and the person said about the security personnel and the danger in just rusticating or sacking security persons. See, if you see one soldier, for instance, especially an officer, before that person passes out from NDA, that person has already undergone at least 4 years of intensive shooting training. And if you understand the military, the life of a military personnel and the life of a civilian is not the same. When you remove them that way, sometimes they become societal misfits. They don't fit into the society again because in their life, in their DNA, in their bloodline, they are forced people. But they have been forced now to go and begin to exist in a democratic society with civilians. It doesn't work. So that person has not learned to it. Probably that person does not have a craft or a business or what he can go into. The person becomes not just unemployed but also unemployable. The only thing he knows how to do is how to manage arms. So when that person takes to crime and join maybe kidnap or whatsoever with that kind of training that he has undergone with the military, what do you think his type of shooting will be? Those are the type of people that see drivers on a distance, they shoot at the driver dies once. Because he is not just a person that we are taking into the bush for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to try how to shoot. That person spent 4 years
All right,
to
Mr.
understand
Chris.
the use of arms. You understand? So you don't take up that kind of a person and push him into the society. The victims becomes us in the society.
Thank you very much.
So that thing that brother was saying made sense. Let them look at measures, disciplinary measures that can be put in place to ensure that these people are being caught, not just to push them out into the system.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. And we'll wrap up the conversation shortly, and would have to move on to something else. But then, looking at the pronouncements that have been made, leadership is quite tactical. Reversing the policies may be difficult, and so I would say, it may not look good. The optics may not really look good for a new administration to begin to have policy somersaults. So, at this point where everyone is trying to impress the president, people in the Nigerian midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority gets to action, gets to work. Do not allow Nigerians suffer for nothing when government has already paid subsidies on products that are stored up in some tanks in the filling stations and by the independent marketers and all of that. Please, as much as you can, get to work and ensure that they dispense fuel at the appropriate price across the country. The Nigerian government has paid subsidies on the products that they have currently, and NNPC says they have products till the end of June. So why not? Why not get to work now and ensure that Nigerians don't suffer for nothing, while the government tries to find ways to manage the subsidy removal situation and put in place, measures to mitigate the effects of subsidy removal. We know that the administration would not be, having ministers at least until the next 60 days or 59 days, as the case may be, because there's a 60-day law for the president to swear in to, have his ministers in place or his cabinet in place. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, seems like the network did you in now. So looking at that, the president would also have to send, a list of his ministerial nominees to the National Assembly, which would not be inaugurated until the 13th of June. So we have about two more weeks before the inauguration of the National Assembly that would screen the ministers that the president would have in place. So, give or take, in the next 30 days or 30 to 40 days, we may not have a cabinet in place. However, the president needs to ensure that he has people who are already doing the job. The directors in the ministries, departments, and agencies find ways to work with them and ensure that they actually get to do the job while you wait to swear in your cabinet or, constitute your cabinet. This would make a lot of sense I'm thinking this should make and help, manage the economy of the nation as we await the cabinet. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, welcome. You'll be my final caller this morning.
Oh, yes. My name is Famous, calling from Area 11.
Famous, welcome. Talk to me quickly.
Thank you. The president's speech as per the fuel subsidy was in haste. And it shows that he did not really plan for that statement because he knows the implication of such a statement in a time like this in this nation. What I want to advise the entire nation is this. We are with anybody who knows a problem with the system. Let's just manage it. It will come and go. But sincerely speaking, that statement was uncalled for at that particular ceremony. Okay. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Looking at, they say in communication, we say something. It is not what you say, but how you say it that matters. So there might have been a gap in the way that the president said what he said. Because looking at the speech that was prepared for him, the speech reads, a fuel subsidy. We commend the decision of the outgoing administration in phasing out the petrol subsidy regime, which has increasingly favored the rich more than the poor. Subsidy can no longer justify its increasing costs in the wake of drying resources. We shall instead rechannel the funds into better investment in public infrastructure, education, healthcare, and jobs that will materially improve the lives of millions. Full stop. You see, when the president said subsidy is gone, I think that's where all of this whole issue on Buhaha, as they say, started. Because if maybe, just maybe, if he had just stuck to this these words with the media, then maybe we wouldn't have that much trouble. But that's a statement that made it seem like instantly subsidy was a thing of the past and gone for good. Let's leave it at that. Thank you so much to everyone who's been a part of the conversation this morning. Thank you to you who just sat back to listen. You're my MVP. Business News is up next. My name